can't lie, today was a bit of a funny one. I began being really mad. I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed. And I was, dare I say it, I was kind of pissed at my coach because I really wanted to do certain things. And he was the voice of reason, the angel on my shoulder that was reminding me of the importance to take it easy on rest days and get your zone 2 cardio and la la la. And for whatever reason, I had said to myself and convinced myself that yes, today was the day that I am going to do some suitcase carries, some banded suitcase carries to be specific, for the first time in a very long time. Anybody that's followed the channel for a little while now will remember I had a phase where I did them a lot. And I was doing a lot of suitcase carries, farmers carries, so on and so forth. And I really enjoyed them. And I feel like there's something that I've missed a little bit recently. So I said to myself, all right, cool, today I'm gonna do it as part of like a cardio routine because I could not be bothered to go and walk on the treadmill for half an hour or go and sit on a bike for half an hour or do anything monotonous like that for half an hour. So I said to myself, all right, cool, I'm just gonna break it up into 6 5-minute different things. I was gonna row, I was gonna skip, I was gonna suitcase carry, I was gonna walk, I was gonna cycle, and so on and so forth, in order to accumulate that half an hour of zone 2 cardio, rather than just do it all on the same thing, right? I feel like mentally it just makes it a little more fulfilling, a little more stimulating. Anyway, he happened to message me at the perfect time, if I'm being completely honest, which is kind of rare because of the time zone differences. And I was not pleased to receive those messages, to say the least. I was quite despondent. I'm somebody who's always had a little bit of an issue with authority, and I felt that energy within me again. I felt like I was getting in trouble by a teacher, or a teacher was telling me that I couldn't do something I really wanted to do, which in many ways made me want to do it even more. However, his reasoning made complete sense, and because of some stuff that I have programmed tomorrow, it would have been extremely counterintuitive to do my suitcase carries. So I didn't. I was a good boy and I was disciplined and I didn't do them. However, it forced me to get creative because I was not about to just get on the treadmill and start walking, because I started with a 5-minute walk and then I went to do my suitcase carries. I did one set, which was probably about 45 seconds. And then I got the messages from him, so I stopped straight away. I then proceeded to skip for 5 minutes and then jump on the bike for 5 minutes. And I was just looking around like, right, I'm not getting on the rower. I've always hated rowing. Let me figure this out. I need to find a way to keep myself stimulated and get the work done that I need to get done. So I went into the studio and I went to have a stretch. Don't know why, I just kind of thought, let me clear my mind, have a stretch. That stretch then led to the studio being empty, like 5 minutes in. So for whatever reason, I just got up and started shadowboxing. Now, shadowboxing is something that I've never really been confident with, to be completely honest, because as I alluded to in a video a day or two ago, I never really got lost in the world of striking. I never really got good at striking, especially in comparison to how good I got at grappling. So I've never had the confidence to just go and shadowbox somewhere, simply because of that lack of confidence. However, it hit me how valuable of a zone 2 cardio type thing it could be, right? So out of the blue, I just kind of started messing about shadowboxing, and then I started using a pillar that we have in the studio at that gym, and shadowbox around it. And that, whilst I wasn't proud of it, whilst I'm sure I look like a bit of a donut doing it, it was fun. And more than anything, it kind of made me relax, right? It put me at ease. It got my creative juices flowing, you could say. because then I walked out of the studio after about, I want to say 5-10 minutes of shadowboxing, and it got me thinking, damn, see, that's the one good thing about striking or boxing or kickboxing, any striking art, that you just don't quite get from jiu-jitsu or grappling. You can practice it anywhere on your own, which is golden, it's beautiful. One thing we always harp on about as grapplers is how great it is that we can spar at 100% every single day. But on the flip side, we can't just practice our art wherever we want, anytime, every single day. We need another human. We need another body to fight against, right? And annoyingly, to an extent, we need that body to be somewhat capable and to be able to give us an adequate amount of resistance in order for us to actually practice our art. So that thought process then led me to a long lost love, shall we say. And that was the balance ball. I don't know what they're actually called, but like pregnancy balls. Funnily enough, my missus just got one, which I blew up the last couple of days, and I've been sitting on it at home, and I tried to play around on it yesterday at home, but I just felt so uncoordinated and so unbalanced. I was just like, nah, forget this. I didn't even bother giving it a go. However, in my creative state, in my, I guess you could say, kind of confident state, because I'd been shadowboxing, which is something that I'm not confident in, so to do it in a public place, even though there was nobody present, I guess it had me standing a little bit taller, right? I was like, fuck it, give me a ball. I got a ball and I went to work, and I got lost. 15 minutes later, I was still going, and I was quite surprised, but it was fun. It was fun. I used to practice balance on the balls quite a lot because it's very applicable to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in particular, because a lot of what we call top pressure, so whenever you are dominating your opponent by being on top of them, a lot of the time, like, they are kind of like a balancing ball being underneath you. You're having to constantly react and adjust to little movements and maintain balance and maintain pressure on the ball or the person if you're sparring. So it mimics it really well, and it forces you to react as kin to the way you would during sparring, and the balance that it requires is very similar. I remember when I first got into it, when I first started practicing it at the gym when I must have been 18, 19, and I felt it translate almost instantly. It was literally like, I want to say like 1 to 2 weeks of consistent practice with it, and I felt it. Like, I would be sparring, and anytime I'd get top pressure, I felt like I could be very light with my top pressure and maintain dominance and not allow somebody to regain their guard or start working back to a more preferable position for them, which was a really cool thing to experience as a youngster, I'll be completely honest. And it made me extremely grateful today. I can't sit here and lie. It made me extremely grateful. It made me extremely grateful for my coach and him being the voice of reason on my shoulder and keeping me on a tight leash, so to speak, because it forced me to be creative. Because I knew for a fact I was not getting on a treadmill or a bike or a rowing machine and sitting on it for half an hour. That wasn't happening today, period. I don't care what you would have offered me, it wasn't gonna happen. Fuck that, boring as shit. I wanted to be honest, I wanted to go to a striking class. There's no sparring involved in the class, but I wanted to go to a striking class today. So I had a lot of pent up energy in me that I wanted to release on something in the gym. And thankfully, being backed into a corner, forced into a hole of you are not allowed to do XYZ, I reconnected with a long lost love, and I'm very grateful for it. I'll be honest, I'm very, very grateful for it, because I think it's a really valuable tool just in general. Like, the exercise in and of itself is extremely taxing, but in a very gentle and subtle way. Like, the the amount of stability that is required from both your core and, more importantly, I would argue, your hips for certain things is incredible. And to be honest, it's something that I don't think you would realize until you give it a go. Like, even if you ask me at 18 years old what I thought it worked, I would definitely say all core, like nothing else. But today I realized how much of a hip workout it is, and I'd imagine it actually being a really, really good way to warm up for something even like a squat. Because one thing I always used to say about jiu-jitsu, and not for this reason, I think it's pretty clear as to the reasons as to why you get like this after sparring in jiu-jitsu, but it always opens up your hips. Like, you'll be the closest you'll ever get to splits, or the closest you have to splits after you do some sparring rounds in jiu-jitsu, because a lot of the positions you are put in are quite compromising and force you to work at an extended range of motion, and require a lot of mobility from your hips. So I'm really grateful for that. So shout out my coach for keeping me on a tight leash. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. And if you've made it this far, I appreciate you more than you can imagine. Thank you very, very much for listening and watching, and I shall see you tomorrow.